Hello, it's Reija and welcome to another video. Today I am going to be doing a single book review of Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergey Dyachenko, translated by Julia Meitov Hersey. I hope you will enjoy. So, Vita Nostra is written by Ukrainian writers Marina and Sergey Dyachenko. They are a married couple. And it is written originally in Russian and it takes place in Russia. And it is translated by Julia Meitov Hersey from the original Russian. And I have to say that even though I am always saying that translators can't be possessed of the spirit of the authors, this book was translated with closely working together with the authors to get the spirit and the ideas of the book across to the English-speaking audience. So definitely go in expecting Julia Meitov Hersey's own personal flair when it comes to the story and the translation, but this is such an interesting book. It is a story about a girl called Sasha who, despite her own plans and despite her own needs and wants, has to travel to this provincial town and take part in this Institute of Special Technologies. If she doesn't comply with the request of her advisor, Farid Kozennikov, something bad will happen to her family. At least that is what is being implied to her. And this book is such an interesting concept. It is basically about learning magic, but through language and through a sort of meta-philosophical lens. This book is about characters transcending the physical plane and basically editing the world around them and editing themselves in order to discover new meaning and new parts and aspects of the world. It is very much about metaphors, about philosophy, and I feel like this book will support endless rereads, because when I was reading this, half of the time I didn't know what was going on. But as I kept going, the book kept rewarding me with new tidbits of information, with new nuggets of world building and characterization. And it was such an interesting experience. I also buddy read this with Rachel from Kalanadi, so I think that this book is excellent if you want to have a sort of community experience with this book. For example, if you have a book club, if you have a Discord server, or if you just want to talk to someone about what you're reading, this book is excellent for discussions. And it's also a book about growing up. A lot of the themes in this book surround children who feel like their parents are not there for them anymore and they need to grow up and they need to find their own voice. And that is something that is sort of being forced upon them. But it's also what growing up is, in a sense. You are growing up whether you want to or not. And I feel like this was such an interesting book and I would highly recommend it. I will say that some of the parts in this book feel very nihilistic. For example, how people act around drinking and substance abuse and sex. But at the same time, I feel like that is a very Eastern European take on that whole thing. Speaking as a Finnish person, that is very much how people act around here too. So it didn't bother me that much, but I would warn that there are very conservative but also very nihilistic attitudes towards sex and substance abuse in this book. So just bear that in mind if you decide to pick it up. I personally didn't mind that much. And yeah, if you decide to pick this book up, I would very much want to know what you think about it. And if you have read this book, I would very much want to know what you thought about it. And finally, I would say that if you enjoy stories like Sophie's World and movies like Paprika by Satoshi Kon, both of which are stories that very much deal with the idea of human ego and humans transcending their own existence through dreaming and through philosophy, I think you would enjoy this book very much. It deals with similar themes and similar concepts as those two stories. And there you have it. This has been my review of Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergey Dyachenko. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. I will see you in another one very soon. Bye bye!